Welcome, my name is Jacob Ferguson, and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16, Episode 11, I think. Yes, 11. Um, for this week's Maxi Challenge, they had to do drag race talk seminars about drag, and category on the runway was Flashback, 1980s Drag Con. So let's get started. So, first and foremost, nobody went home last week, so we have a top 7 still. Um, I think that this was the last week. It was a well deserved non elimination. This week, I think that everything that went on for a reason. Um, we get some back and forth on Saphira and Morphine. I think that Morphine definitely. I don't necessarily agree that she won even the challenge or the lip sync, but I think that the playful banter that she had with Saphira was fun. The non playful banter, however, was, of course, Plain versus Dawn. And that was intense. Um, Plain kind of was in her feelings and starting to crack about how um, she was in the bottom last week, and Dawn sort of poked her, and she went off on this crazy little tangent about how Dawn didn't look like her, was never going to look like her, and was a hot doo doo mess. Here's the thing: when that little clip came out about that, saw a lot of people talking about how Plain wasn't in the bottom; she was safe. And while I do agree with that, I also think it's funny that Q and Plain were sort of the bottom two of the week, because Nymphia was safe; she had immunity. I'm also so glad that we got rid of immunity now. This is We were 10 episodes in. It was time to get rid of the immunity. Um, Usually you'd only get 5 episodes of immunity, and then the rest of the time it was smooth sailing. We were on episode 10. It's time. We had about 8 consecutive episodes of immunity that they could have used. So, Nymphia got immunity, so she was safe. So, let's talk about the mini challenge, which is Spill the Tea. I love that they used a little confessional of Saphira holding a coffee cup and going, "This should be good," and her eyebrows were like, "Do, do, do, do." That was unintentionally hilarious. Um, Moving on, let's talk about who won Saphira. They did it last year for season 15 as well. And I like this little mini challenge. I like that they do this now every year. So the main challenge, they are split up into groups. They don't get to choose their groups. They were split up into little groups. We have Plain and Q, Dawn and Mhi'ya, and then Morphine, Saphira, and Nymphia. And they have to present drag race seminars to a bunch of heterosexual board employees. Um, this style of this hasn't really been done before. Obviously, there was a writer strike going on. So these next couple of episodes are going to be like, um, in regards to that. However, I do think that they're trying to make the best of what's happened. Um, this just really wasn't an interesting episode in terms of comedy. I think that looking at it, we still have yet to have a roast. We still have yet to have a makeover. We need to have these before the season ends, please and thank you. And I think that a roast would have sufficed much more than a PowerPoint presentation, especially with who won. Speaking of which, let's talk about the seminars. But I'm not going to go in order of who won and who lost. We're going to go by group. And then we'll hit the runway, and then we'll do the runway as who won and who lost. Plane and Q had a really great dynamic with each other. I think that theirs was the best put together presentation. They did drag history, and they did well. I saw a thing just like about 15 minutes ago of the fact that Q copied one of Katya's jokes about the clips. Unfortunately, Katya does not own comedy. You can reuse a joke as long as it's, good. And I don't think that Q meant to reuse a joke. I just think that they thought of the idea and they came up with it. It was funny, but it wasn't too funny. Like, I think that Plane and Q really committed to the bits, but some of the bits went on for a bit too long. Overall, they both get creams. They did great. Let's talk about Dawn and Mhi'ya. Dawn really was in her element up to a certain point, but like the judges said, it's like in A Christmas Carol, where Jacob Marley is fettered with chains and is walking, and the chains are preventing him from walking. It is like Dawn is Jacob Marley trying to walk, and Mhi'ya is just holding on and getting dragged along with her. And it just didn't work. Dawn definitely did the best of the group. The problem is that Mhi'ya was also there. I love Mhi'ya to death. I think that she started out strong. Coming in, she threw her note cards in the air. I don't know if it was intentional or not. Also, this is like a Mallow Cup shirt. I don't know why I wore it yesterday and into today to do the recording, but I did. My dad got it for me. So yeah, Mhi'ya just started out strong, but then just sort of said can't really do that well when you don't know what you're saying. Just like me in this YouTube video. Hey, that's great. But yeah, Mhi'ya was not good. She's getting a crunch tonight, and Dawn is getting a soft cream. The soft, we beat soft peaks into the cream. We're not whipping the cream all the way. Let's talk about the threesome, or the group of three, which was Morphine, Saphira, and Mhi'ya. Saphira definitely gets a cream. She did really well. The issue for me, though, was that she did stumble a couple of times. But she did really well. It's a cream. Mhi'ya is also a cream. Mhi'ya, I'm not going to speak on the accent that she was using, because that's not my place. And frankly, even the judges commenting on it was a little bit like, okay, yeah, we get it. She did really well. She was really funny. And I think that she was more in her element than we all realized. There were jokes about, Mhi'ya going, I don't know how to do Snatch Game. And then it was like, actually, I impersonated Meryl Streep. I was her body double, all that. I really do feel like Mhi'ya was underestimating herself, or we underestimated her, and then she kind of knocked it out of the park. As for Morphine, I don't think that she did as bad as I thought that she was going to do, but at the same time, she stepped on Saphira's lines and Mhi'ya's lines. One second. She stepped on Mhi'ya and Saphira's lines, and she really just kind of flopped from there. I agree with Joel, Joel Kim Booster was the guest judge, that she could have played off the mess up with, no, you heard wrong. I said it correctly. You guys heard wrong. But all in all, this group wasn't as bad as I thought they were going to be. Morphine definitely did a good job this week. Ish. She's still getting a crunch though. I don't know. She didn't do a good job this week. She was. It's a crunch. It's a soft crunch though. Like it's like an autumn leaf crunch. I think that she did bad, but not bad enough. Don't know what that was. If it happens again, I'll go check it out. But don't know what that was. Don't know if that was somebody falling down the stairs or I don't know. Anyway, let's continue on to the runway. Category is flashback. DragCon 1980s. Let's start with the winner of the challenge. Spoiler alert, obviously. It's Safira Cristal. This look was really good. It was a black dress that was like Cyndi Lauper type beat with really, really nice hair. She never really misses on the runway tonight. It's a cream. Do I think that she did the best in the challenge? No. But do I think that she did the best on the runway? Also no, but she looks great. It's two creams for me. Let's go on to Nymphia Wind. She did a Grace Jones inspired look from her movie Vamps. And it is freaking amazing. It is so good. I can't believe it. She did really well tonight on the runway. It's also giving a bit of Keith. One second, I don't want to mess up his name. Keith Haring. I almost called him Keith Harrington, which is not correct. It's Keith Haring. I apologize. I knew it was Keith H. So, inspired art on her look as well, but tonight it was a slam dunk. She gets a cream. Was it my favorite look though? No. Let's go on to the other high placement, or at least what I'm calling high placement, Q. Now listen, she did not do the best in the challenge, but what she did do is do really well on the runway. And also, I think it's time to say it, Q came out as HIV positive this episode. I admire her bravery. It is not easy coming out as HIV positive. She did a really great job on the runway, incorporating the AIDS ribbon into her outfit with Keith Haring, who died of AIDS in the 80s. Artwork on her, she looks $1,000,000. This is my favorite look on the runway tonight. Not because it's beautiful. It is, but that's not the reason why. It is the message. You know, Nymphia's is the most beautiful look on the runway tonight. Let's tell that. She looks amazing. But Q looks so good. And the message behind her outfit is so good. 10 out of 10. I'm so glad that she was able to share this on the runway tonight. Makes you feel really bad that you guys deactivated her Twitter, huh? Let's talk about Plain Jane. This look was okay. It's gonna get a crunch from me, only because I feel like it could have been better. Plain always paints older than she actually is. So, I mean, it doesn't look bad, but I was expecting a lot more of a look tonight from her. So, next up, let's talk about Dawn. So, I looked up the band that RuPaul referenced, which is Sig Sig Sputnik. I think it was. Yep, Sig Sig Sputnik. And I looked up their image. First off, all of them are actually quite attractive. What? Oh. And Dawn's look was definitely a Sig Sig Sputnik type look. It definitely tracks. Sometimes when Mama Ru, you know, why did I just call her Mama Ru? Sometimes when RuPaul says a reference, you kind of look at her and go, you're just trying to bring your hobbies into this. But this tracks. This does track, and I would tell you to look up what they actually look like because Dawn did do a good job with that sort of reference. Um, it's not '80s in the way that gay people think of the '80s necessarily, but it is '80s in the way that straight people think of the '80s. Um, my mom was in the room and she said, "Yep, that's the '80s, all right." Um, Dawn looks great. I'm gonna give her a cream here. Let's move on to Maya. I don't know. I don't know if this was '80s or not. But what I can tell you is what I'm not gonna do is get really mad at her because of the stylist flaking on her outfits. Because let's face it, that stylist flaked on her outfits and she was not able to get them in on time and she had to do what she had to do. What I'm not going to do is get mad at her for that. That being said, this outfit is a crunch. I don't know if it is '80s. I don't know if it's for me. Um, it's not great. It's a crunch. I'm sorry. Uh, I think if she was corseted, it might have been different. But then again, it was just one color, and when it's just one color, and there's no like delineation of anything, I don't know. It just didn't scream '80s, and it didn't scream great to me. Let's talk about Morphine. This was a crunch. It was giving me Dolly Parton, but not like good Dolly Parton. It was giving me Dolly Parton contest fifth alternate. Also, she had butt cutouts again. Um, it was not '80s. It was not for me. It's a crunch. Sorry about it. Let's move on to the actual placements. So Saphira does win, controversially so. Q has the Jan face crack, um, which I think it was really funny that she was just the entire time. Um, and I think that she definitely deserved to be high. I don't think that she should have won. If anything, I think that Plain Jane could have won, or even Nymphia. So yeah, Nymphia or Plain or Saphira could have won, and I would have been happy. Um, Nymphia is high. The other two place safe. Though, if we really want to get into it, Plain and Q are also high, because they both did a good job. And let's move on to the bottom three, which were Dawn, Morphine, and Maya. Dawn is placed as safe, probably because of her runway, and also the fact that she held the center of gravity a lot. And Maya and Morphine are placed in the bottom two. And the time has come for them to lip sync to Dim the Lights by Donna Summer. Here's the thing. I love Donna Summer. Most of her songs. And by most, I mean there's about two or three that I listen to a lot. MacArthur Park and Last Dance are some of my favorites. This is now going into the rotation. It's a really, really, really good song. Um, and I think it's one of her like forgotten gems almost. When I look at like her greatest hits, I couldn't find it on there, so I was like, oh, okay. It was a really, really good song choice. Disco's always good. Disco's great. I love disco. When Maya took off the thing that she was wearing and threw it on Morphine, gagged. And then Morphine immediately going, nope, this is my stage now. Maya did do her flips and tricks and splits and all of that sort of stuff. And they would have been good if it was her first time lip syncing. But I think now we've come to expect a type thing. Though I do have to give her props that she is a ballroom queen doing ballroom. You know, unlike some people, Anitra, who appropriated ballroom culture last season and didn't really give it the credit that it deserved. Mhi'ya did do a great job. And I saw a thing on Twitter this morning that was like, when a queen who appropriates ballroom culture is top tier, but Mhi'ya, who's been doing ballroom, uh, does a whole bunch of stuff, and people are like, we've seen it before. So I'm not going to be too critical on that. Obviously, I think that her doing her flips and stuff is still good. It's still visually impressive. I just do think that if it had been her first time, it would have been like great. But because it was her fourth, it had lost its luster. I also think Morphine didn't do that bad, but it also was just kind of like, it's okay. Um, I'm hoping that Morphine like picks it up and maybe does some stuff with it, though I doubt very seriously that she will. I feel like that the top four is already sort of set. I think that it's going to be Q, Saphira, uh, Plain Jane, and Nymphia, and that's going to be that. We just got to get rid of the other two first. Um, as for the eliminated queen, it was Mhi'ya. I definitely agree that it's her time to go. If you get like, if you're like Georges and you get 5+ chances, people are already tired of seeing you flop every week. With Mhi'ya, even though she was having some good weeks, the bad definitely outweighed the good for her. I feel so bad for her, especially after learning like all of the trials and tribulations that it took to get her on Drag Race. Um, Especially with the designer, I do feel bad for her, but it was her time to go. Next week they are creating bathrooms, and we will see next week. Who are you guys rooting for? Leave your things in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I post new videos every Saturday about this. And after this season, I will be doing All Stars 9. Maybe Global All Stars, depending on if I get to watch Global All Stars. But yeah, that is that. My name has been Jacob Ferguson. It is Jacob Ferguson. It hasn't always been. It has been. Sisha, I'm messing up my words again. Sorry. Alright, guys. I will see you next Saturday with Season 16, Episode 12, and peace out.